Thanks very much. I want to talk for a few minutes about the budget blueprint that most of you know the President started speaking about this morning with the governors. I'll talk a little bit about what it is and what it isn't, and then talk about where we are in the budget process and what it looks like from here. First of all, what this isn't. This is not a full-blown budget. That will not come until May, so you're not going to see anything in here that has to do with mandatory spending, entitlement reforms, tax policies, revenue projections, or the infrastructure plan. This blueprint was never going to be that, as I made clear during my Senate confirmation. It is a top-line number only. As for what it is, these are the President's policies as reflected in top-line discretionary spending. To that end, it is a true America First budget. It will show the President is keeping his promises and doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he ran for office. It prioritized rebuilding the military, including restoring our nuclear capabilities, protecting the nation and securing the border, enforcing the laws currently on the books, taking care of vets, and increasing school choice. And it does all of that without adding to the currently projected FY 2018 deficit. The top-line defense discretionary number is $603 billion. That's a $54 billion increase. It's one of the largest increases in history. It's also the number that allows the President to keep his promise to undo the military sequester. The top-line non-defense number will be $462 billion. That's a $54 billion savings. It's the largest proposed reduction since the early years of the Reagan administration. The reductions in non-defense spending follow the same model. It's the President keeping his promises and doing exactly what he said he was going to do. It reduces money that we give to other nations. It reduces duplicative programs, and it eliminates programs that simply don't work. The bottom line is this: the President's going to protect the country and do so in exactly the same way that every American family's had to do over the last couple of years, and that's prioritize spending. The schedule from here, these numbers will go out to the agencies today in a process that we describe as pass back. Review from agencies are due back to OMB over the course of the next couple of days, and we'll spend the next week or so working on a final budget blueprint. We expect to have that number to Congress by March 16th. That puts us on schedule for a full budget, including all the things I mentioned this one does not include, with all the larger policy issues in the first part of May. So with that, I'll take a couple of questions. Yes, sir.
Mr. Director, in order to get to your top line on the rest of the non-discretionary, or rest of the discretionary budget, if you're not going to touch veterans' benefits, you need to slice about 12% off of the rest of government. Can you do that without affecting the services the government provides for the American?
Sure, and that's part of what this process is this week. Okay, what we're doing, the numbers go out, and the numbers, each agency will get its top line number, along with recommendations from OMB as to how we think they can hit that number. And they may come back to us and say, yeah, we think that's a good way to reach that number. Or they may come back to us with other suggestions. That's what this process is. I think it's fairly unusual for us to be coming to you this early in the process, but we want to let everybody know exactly where we were.
But we're not talking about 2 or 3%. I mean, we're talking about double-digit reductions, and that's a lot.
And there's going to be a lot of programs that, again, you can expect to see exactly what the President said he was going to do. Foreign aid, for example. The President said we're going to spend less money overseas and spend more of it here. That's going to be reflected in the number we sent to the State Department.
Thank you very much. One quick follow on foreign aid. That accounts for less than 1% of overall spending, and I just spoke with an analyst who said even if you zeroed that out, it wouldn't pay for 1 year of some of the budget increases that are being proposed right now. So how do you square that? And also, why not tackle entitlements, which are the biggest drivers, especially when a lot of Republicans over the years have said that they need to be tackled?
Sure. On your foreign aid, it's the same answer I just gave, which is, yes, it's a fairly small part of the discretionary budget, but it's still consistent with what the President said. When you see these reductions, you'll be able to tie it back to a speech the President gave or something the President has said previously. He's simply going to, we are taking his words and turning them into policies and dollars. So we will be spending less overseas and spending more back home. I forgot your second question.
On entitlements. Why not address entitlements, which is the biggest driver
very
of spending?
Unusual to, this is a budget blueprint, what some folks used to call a skinny budget, and it would not be at all unusual for larger policy decisions, including tax reform revenue projections, not to be included in this budget. That will come in.
Down the line, so down the line, could we see some
A
type of
full budget would
attempt to
contain
deal with
the
entitlements?
entire spectrum of the president's proposed policy changes.
Director, on rebuilding the military, can you talk a little bit about more of the breakdown of that? Can you go into a little bit more?
No, I can't, because again, where we are in this process is that the number is going to the DOD today, and over the course of the next 10 days to 2 weeks, we'll be coming up with those types of details. I got time for one more. Yes, sir.
You'd be asking the military, you're gonna increase the military budget, but you're gonna at least ask the people in the Defense Department to take a look at their budget and say, hey, where can we at least cut, or at least look and make sure that we're spending the right amount of money? Part of that is gonna be part of the process?
Well, absolutely. That's part of what Secretary Mattis and I have already talked. He's interested in driving more efficiencies into the Defense Department. OMB is also going to be involved with him on the procurement process. All of that will be incorporated in our larger budget in May.
So it's not just like a blanket, here, we're gonna throw money at you, do what you
No,
want.
sir. No, sir. Last one.
Does this account for spending for the president's wall, either in the $30 billion you've heard or you're going to request for this year, or the $54 billion increase? Does that include money for the wall, how to pay for the wall?
Yeah, it'd be more likely, a little bit of both. We do expect to include some money in a future supplemental for 2017 for the wall, and the 2018 budget will also contain some longer-term dollars for that.
Split up between the two.
I believe that's going to be the case. Thank you all very much.